interest in sport arts. Thank you. We're recording this, so just so you guys know. Um, and My name is Michael Bonitatis. I'm running the program, and I would like to talk a little bit about it. But first, I want to introduce the three of the amazing teachers we have that are going to be there. So you guys may or may not know Mark Farquhar, who runs the program at CSUN. Mark,
Hey guys, nice to meet you.
and Sherry Pollock, who is an amazing director over at Nickelodeon.
Actually, I'm at Cartoon Network, but
Now you're at Cartoon Network.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. Everything's almost good, but I'm here.
Great to have you with us. And Adam, you've done so much. I keep track of where you are right now because I know you're in production.
Oh, yeah. Well, right now I'm assistant director on The Simpsons, and currently I'm animating on an episode and then finishing that up, and then I'll be starting another episode probably in a couple of weeks. But yeah, currently on The Simpsons show.
Awesome. Well, these are three of the amazing teacher mentors that are going to be with us those 2 weeks, guiding you guys through the process of creating a short animated film. And very, very lucky to have you guys with us. So let me just talk a little bit about, first of all, like summer arts in general, what it is. Um, it's I'm going to go to this page. I'm going to share it with you guys just so you realize because, and I'll put the link up there. But you know who's running the whole thing is the Summer Arts California State University, and their mission is to empower people through excellence and innovation in arts, education, exhibition, and performance. What's great about it is there's several different categories of classes that are going to be running up there at Fresno State, which is the college that is hosting it this year, which I found out about that they're going to be talking about going to different CSU colleges to host it. And The program lasts for 2 weeks, but there's a dance program, there's a bunch of different ones in there. If you go into the site, I just want to get you guys a little bit familiar with the site. So let me put that in the chat here so you guys can make sure you can get onto it and see it. And this way you can kind of follow along with me on your computers as well as we kind of just look at a few things. Mainly, I want to make sure you guys are understanding how to apply and when to apply and all that stuff. Okay, so there's the link. And so if we go to the home page, it'll talk a little bit about some of the other events and the Media Arts Festival, which is happening basically at the very end of our 2 weeks. And they'll be showing the films at a theater that is on campus, and a lot of people will be going to it. They've been running this for, I think, like 17 years, and it's been very successful for a lot of the students who are just kind of looking to move forward with their careers and do professional work. Session 2 dates, so it starts July 8th and goes to the 21st. And these are the other classes that are going to be going on at the time. And we are the only media class, animation production studio, which makes us very awesomely cool because we have our own category. So obviously we're going to be going to create a short film in 2 weeks. You guys are going to be paired up in teams of 4. And right now we're able to take 20 students accepted. However, I'm going to talk to them and see if we can accept more, but it's really the size of the classroom. So that would be 5 teams of 4, if my math is right, right? So if we have, let's say, 2 CG shorts and 3 2D, that's great, or however many we can get. But this is what I wanted to go over. A couple of things. If you're interested in taking the class, you should be a junior or a senior. You've covered all your basic core classes. You have done either 2D animation or CG animation. And you don't necessarily have to have worked on a group before. This could be the first time that you're on a team. Um, those of you who have taken my class over at CSUN have been through this before, except we do it in 15 weeks, where here we're going to do it in 2 weeks. So it'll be a little bit more intense in terms of the amount of work we're doing daily, but still a lot of fun. So these are the three things that you're going to have to submit. Obviously, a resume, and some kind of a link so we can see your work. And then finally, this personal statement, and it doesn't need to be formal. You guys can just type it out in a Word document or type it up and put it in the application. But it's really just about why do you want to take this class? What is interesting about it to you? And what do you think you would like to get out of it? Where do you want to go, after you're done with this and with your career? That kind of stuff. Keep it informal. It's really about us finding out about you so we know who you are as an artist, and where you're coming from. Uh, Obviously, this is everybody who's going to be teaching and mentoring and working with you. Um, Bruce was just at an awards last night. Spoke to him, great guy. He's running his show, which is just doing amazing. Um, Steve's in Florida. So all these guys are coming out all over for you. It's really to mentor and help you develop your skills so that you can move on and be the next generation of animators that are out there. And that's what's exciting about it to me, to see the new talent that's coming in. So the application process is right here. It'll tell you what we're asking for. And then you could apply. Obviously, there's questions you can ask me or the office, but this is the other part, the scholarship area. So there's obviously funds that it's going to cost for stuff. However, they've told me that 85% of all the students applying get financial scholarships, which means it's little to no money out of your pocket, or at least partial financial aid. And what does it include? Well, you're obviously going up there and you're staying in the dorms for 2 weeks. So it's housing. There's 3 square meals a day served in the cafeteria, as well as obviously an open lab to work in that night. There's a party on Saturday for a wrap party, we're calling it, to close everything up. And then there's the big premiere of the films in the theater. So it's a whirlwind 2 weeks involved. I know this does say about your parents. So if you're underage, you have to get your parents' consent to do this, and fill it out for the financial aid. The main thing why we're having these 2 meetings now so early, what seems like it's early to you guys, is because the deadline for applying and finding financial aid is really pretty much coming up at the end of April. So I would say, if you're interested, if this sounds like something you want to do and you're excited about this opportunity, go ahead and apply as soon as possible. There's no commitment, but then at least we'll know who's interested. And of course, you apply for the scholarship on it as well. That's it in a nutshell, where what you guys need to know about it. But the other reason why we're doing it is because we want to open up questions that you guys may have about the program. I also want to get some feedback from you guys about this, and then of course Mark, Adam, and Sherry talk a little bit about what you hope to bring to the table when we start doing this as well. But let's start with the students who are here. Feel free, ask us questions about either if something's confusing about how to apply or what you'd be expected of. I didn't go too much into details about the actual production. If you have questions about that, I can answer them as well.
Can I do a little pitch before you take questions?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so so you guys, yeah, hey, let me, okay, so Yeah, just real quick. Yeah, this is an incredible opportunity for a bunch of reasons. One is you're going to, this is 3 upper division elective credits that you can transfer. So if you're in the CSU system, it's super easy. I think it's like $5 to have the records transferred. So it can help with satisfying your your undergraduate degree. Graduate students can take it as well, but 2 weeks intense class, and then just the people that you're going to be working with. Let me can you go to the class and the yeah, there you go. Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
start with you, Mark.
Okay, we don't need to really look at me. Yeah,
Well, let's just talk a little bit about
so yeah,
yourself first.
okay, so so let me I'm a character animator, worked in feature animation. I worked at all the major studios, the Disney, Warner, Pixar, DreamWorks, Sony ImageWorks. So like I've worked at all the different studios on a bunch of projects. I think the best thing I worked on was maybe like Iron Giant or Toy Story 2. I think were some of the big.
What about Shrek? Weren't you with Shrek?
I didn't. That was just a name thing. It wasn't.
Oh, that's right, Prince Farquhar. I forgot.
Yeah. So no, it was because I have a weird name. I thought it'd be funny. But but so I've worked on a bunch of stuff in studio, and I can tell you, like Adam Dykstra and Sherry Pollock are. It's really amazing that we're having people that, and they're going to introduce themselves. But you guys, just so you kind of get some context, it's incredible that we have a program where we're going to be able to bring in people like this to help. So there's going to be 2 tracks. There's going to be 2D and 3D production that's going to be going on, and so there's advisors that are just incredible in all of these areas. So somebody like Adam Dykstra is a 2D and 3D person, and he's worked on, he's going to go through, but it's just incredible amount of films. Sherry Pollock has been doing 2D stuff, and again, she'll be talking about it. So I want to talk about the people that aren't here, like Bruce Smith. It's amazing that we have somebody like Bruce Smith. He's, he got an Oscar for the Hair Love short. He worked on Princess and the Frog. You guys know. I don't know how you say the character's name, but it's Princess and the Frog. Dr. Does anybody know? Facilier.
Yeah.
Adam Dykstra was a lead on Princess and the Frog as well. But yeah, Bruce Smith created the Proud Family. He started back on Roger Rabbit. It's just amazing to have somebody like that coming. Owen Platt, Nightmare Before Christmas animator. There was a handful, I think, of people that did animation on that. The animators, I don't remember the number, but it's somewhere around 10 animators that were working on the film. And he's worked at Disney and DreamWorks doing 2D and 3D stuff. He did a really amazing personal film called Of Wood a couple of years ago, just incredible. Steve Hickner is a director that worked at DreamWorks. He's a director in B-Movie, Prince of Egypt. He goes back to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Little Mermaid, Great Mouse Detective, like just really like kind of legendary career. And then we're going to have full-time support with Ernesto Martinez, who's a 3D rigging support. So just a really incredible team that's going to help with the technical stuff and also with just mentoring and creative. It's a really incredible chance, and that's a part of what like made me so excited about wanting to work with Michael on this, is just what he was putting together. And I've seen with Michael's teaching at CSUN, I've seen how well he's able to coordinate and get incredible work out of people. 2 weeks is a really short time, but you're going to be proud of the kind of work that you're able to do in 2 weeks. You're going to be working on a team. You're going to be building portfolio, and you get that benefit. You get credit for your college, credit. It's also, it's just like any college credit. So you can get financing for it. There are a lot of scholarship opportunities, and what else? I just put together notes for a pitch. I just want to make sure I hit everything. I think that's it. And so yeah, and then as far as like me, I'm excited about like the kind of work that we can do when all we're focusing on is 2 weeks of doing a short. I think it's going to be really fun. So if you're thinking that you want to try or that you might try, I would apply and then see what kind of grants, to see like what it really means, like, you know, how expensive it is and what the finances are. But you don't have to accept it. When you apply, you're just applying. You find out, you know, what the situation is with the scholarships. So apply in time for the scholarships. That's a big deal because the scholarship deadline is coming up. But otherwise, you know, you can't lose anything by applying. So
The other thing I just want to mention is, like I said, as of now, there's 20 seats available. So I'm hoping that everybody can get in that applies, but it's not guaranteed. So the sooner you apply, the earlier you apply, the better. I don't know if there's going to be extra seats or if they're going to give us another room or if they have more equipment or not. But as of now, that's how many are available. But thanks, Mark, for that. I appreciate it and appreciate your feedback. And why don't we hear from Sherry next, because she's also going to be there the full 2 weeks as Mark is with me.
Sure. Are you hosting it? Because I don't know how I can, there. Oh, hello. I'm Sherry Pollock. You are right. And I'm in great company. It's pretty mind-blowing to have these people in your court, students. Had they had something like this when I was a student, I would have jumped. I would definitely have jumped because it's invaluable to work in a team in this business. It's definitely, you get a chance to see what other people do, and you get a chance to prepare your work so that you can hand it to someone else. And you basically learned the reality of what it takes to be on a production. And I wish I had known that. I began as an animator, as an in-betweener, and moved my way up. And then I remember I went to Klasky Csupo and ready to in-between, and they said, no, you're going to do timing now. And I not know what this is. And they said, oh yeah, you do, because you're an animator. And so it was really fascinating to see that the more hats you wear, the longer you stay in the business. And so that's what I'm going to bring to the party, is basically mentoring you and guiding you to look at the big picture, dive in deep to the minutia, and then step back and see what you're doing. And so this is my long way of saying, when you work in a group, you are making a little movie. You are making a frame by frame movie, and you're learning the reality of studio production. And again, I think it's going to put you eons ahead. It's very competitive right now, very competitive. So it's going to put you ahead if you know the reality of production. And I'm really looking forward to working with you guys, no matter what you want to do. You might want to do games. You might want to create your own series. You're going to get an idea of what it takes to work with a group of people, because you have to get along with people when you're working in this business. And so you're going to dive in and do that here. And it's a great opportunity. Really, really is. And so back to me, I've worked on features. I worked on Ferngully, just kind of honing my animation skills. And then every once in a while, they'd say, now we need you to do boards. I have no pride. I was in theater a long time and said, oh, you're going to do voices now. And so the more you do, the more bankable you are, first of all. As you know, look at the climate we're in. A lot of people aren't working, and then it's going to pivot around and people are going to work again. But the more you do, the more valuable you are. So get rid of your pride, say yes to everything. And I'm really looking forward to this.
Great. Thank you so much, Sherry. Appreciate that. Really awesome. And Adam, please talk to us.
Oh, sure, sure. Well, thanks for having me, and it's great to meet everybody. And of course, I worked with Mark before over at Disney Feature. We worked also on a documentary together. But I'll just give you a little understanding about me. I started in animation in 1985. I was 20 years old in Indianapolis, and my mentorship basically was just begging for work. And then I started my career at a small company called Perennial Pictures in Indianapolis, and they trained me, and it was kind of a mentorship, but kind of talking about what Sherry was just saying. They wanted us to work in every facet of animation. I mean, I had to paint cells, I did writing. We had an upright moviola. I did editing, and eventually I was doing assistant work, cleanup, as well as rough in-betweening, and eventually became an animator there. And it was terrific because shortly after that, it fed into working for Garfield at Jim Davis's studio in Indianapolis. And from there, I was hired in 1991 to move to California and work for Film Roman, and then eventually Disney Feature, where I met Mark. And so I've been doing this for about 39 years straight, and it's really kind of like what Sherry was saying and the stuff I've done with Mark. It's teamwork, and the way I look at animation is two facets. When I first started, I wanted to be more of an actor and a filmmaker. And what I learned quickly was that it's kind of animation and acting and filmmaking, it's all kind of the same thing. It's different tools and different mediums. But the more you know about everything, the better off you're going to be about marketability. Like I was saying, I painted cells. Of course, we don't paint cells anymore. But some people want to work them in more of the technical side. Some people want to do more performance. Some people want to do more animation where they're sitting down drawing, and others want to do different facets of the industry as a director, a production manager, a timer. And the beauty of it all is exercise each one of these facets and find out best where you fit in. And then I think you'll get a great deal of gratification. And there's so much more to it. But the one thing I learned quickly was that I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to perform, and the best way to do that was to be an animator. And it's kind of one of the same thing. But we can get more into that during the talk when I come up there. But I think this is such an amazing program. I wish there was something like this when I started, back in 1985. And I think that everybody's going to get more than they think they're going to get. By the end of 2 weeks, you're going to have this amazing production with some very talented people. I've worked with Bruce before over at Film Roman, and he, like Mark was saying, he's amazing. He's like one of these guys that he's really good at designing, he's really good at acting, he's really good at animating, and he's just a very nice guy. So I think everybody's in for a big treat with Mark and Sherry and Bruce and the others. I don't think I've worked with the others so much before, but they're amazing people, amazing credentials, and I thank you all for letting me be a part of this.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. That was great,
Mhm.
Adam. Thanks again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the thing that occurred to me is some of you had worked together on different projects, but I feel like I'm kind of bringing together a new band. Everybody's this is the first time working together, and it's exciting. I cannot wait to see the films that we come up with, and it's really the students, the films that you guys come up with. So let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about the films you guys are, if you're thinking about them or questions that you have. Let's open it up to you guys now, because now that you know everybody and what it is, talk to us. Give us some feedback. Give us some questions, and that's for anybody, for anything. Remember, this program is all about collaboration and communication. So let's hear some comments or thoughts or anything from you guys. Don't be shy. There you go, Gavin. How are you, Gavin?
Hi, I'm from Chico, and I'm Gavin Berger, and I just have a quick question. I'm on like the 3D side in terms of animation, and
Sure.
I guess what I'm more curious about is what's the level of, I guess, like skill? Like what's a good reference to be at if I want to do something like this?
Well, we're hoping everybody on the team has, at the very least, animated in Maya.
Mm.
But not everybody on the team necessarily needs to be an expert rigger. So for you guys, if you can do modeling, you can do animation, and you feel like that you've gotten the basics down, there needs to be at least one person on the team, but that will kind of be up to us to put somebody in your team. If that's why we're asking from the resume, have you rigged before? Of course, you're going to have somebody help guide you through it, but that's part of it. But everybody's going to need to animate because that's going to be the most time consuming part of the project. So if you're asking like what it is that you need to do or where you are in the program, I would say, have you had are you at least a like junior level? Have you had Maya classes before? Give us a little bit of feedback in terms of where you feel like you are in your CG um training experience.
Okay, so I'm a junior at the moment, and
Okay.
so at Chico we usually, at least in the animation side, it's usually mostly 3D. There's not much of 2D yet. Well, we're
Okay.
starting to like implement more 2D classes in the recent years, but so far, like we have classes that go through the modeling pipeline, the animation pipeline, and so on. And so where I'm at, I've already taken maybe like 2 semesters worth of animation classes. So you got like the fundamental ones, which is just, messing with the ball. And the next is more like beginner biomechanics. And so that's like the sit to stand and, walk cycle and so forth.
Okay.
And I'm currently taking a character animation class. So it's more, no, you given a piece of dialogue and you kind of film your own reference and you animate that. And
That's
so
great.
that's what I'm currently at. But at the same time, I'm also taking a motion capture class and a character rigging class at the moment. So
Oh,
I
good.
am in the process of learning rigging. So right now, but yeah, at least next year as a senior, what we do here at Chico is usually this class called 495, which is uh there's 2 sides because it's game development and then you got like production. And so you're kind of placed in teams of however many, usually maybe like 5, sort of similar to what's going on here, but
Sure.
it's just other students and you're just kind of given free reign with slight guidance and you just kind of go from there. So I'm doing that next semester or the next 2 semesters. And so, yeah,
Well, this would
that's
kind of be your way of getting a leg up on everybody else. I think you
exactly.
definitely would be qualified for the class. And if you went in to your next semester having already taken this, it would be a great, for you to be a lead in one of those teams.
Oh, of course,
So,
that's what I'm really excited for. I've been really excited
cool.
to take those collaboration or team collaborated classes. So I guess this is my sort of idea of, jumping the gun in that aspect.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. And like Sherry said, it's all about collaboration anyway. So the more comfortable you are with working with people that you don't know, and then all of a sudden, wow, these are people that you are becoming friends with and you stay in contact with. So everybody's expanding their network by doing this
Mm.
as well, which I think is just invaluable because it's all about that as well, networking as well.
So
So thanks for the question. It's great.
Yeah.
follow up real quick? So yeah, Gavin, just put your best stuff in, and you're going to learn a lot. So like it's definitely worth like jumping in. But the other thing too is just to make clear that there are, Michael, that we're doing 2D tracks. There'll be 2D projects as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, there's going to be in my goal, we'd like to have CG shorts and 2D shorts. Possibly more, but at least that would be 4 teams. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think my problem kind of lies in I haven't really had the time to make a lot of personal projects outside of, the course or like the class assignments. And so I just feel like I don't really have a lot to show, but I really know. And so I'm just kind of, flaky on that end.
I mean, as
we'll be
long as
able
it's
to
put
see
in your resume.
whatever you submit, we'll be able to see, Gavin.
Yeah.
Just submit your stuff. It doesn't. We don't expect people to have final projects,
Okay.
right, Michael? I mean,
All right.
we know
Well,
your students.
The class that you're taking right now, Gavin, is going to be the one that's going to be the most valuable to you when you get into this project because you are going to be animating a biped character.
Mhm.
And having had some experience with that already is going to really help you. You'll be done this class that you're taking now before you take the one in July. So that's what I said. Just show us what you've got from that or where you are. But the fact that we know you're taking that is fine.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
And with the rigging too, I mean, we're going to use scripts, so it's not going to be as it sounds crazy, 2 weeks. It's doable, and you're gonna be it's going to be an incredible experience for you. So Yeah, if you're thinking about doing it, try it, and then just put your best stuff out, and don't worry. Like, you guys don't not apply, and we can see where you are at with stuff. So, like, don't be shy about applying.
Right. I think that's a
Hmm.
good point, Mark, because honestly, the fact that you apply shows us that you are interested and have initiative and want to move forward with this other than just taking the classes that you would normally take. So half of that to me is you're already there. So that's great. Okay,
Yeah,
let's hear
could I
some.
say? Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
sorry.
sure.
Oh, I
Sorry.
just wanted to put a note on that as well. Like, I remember when I started too, I didn't really have a lot of stuff when I was trying to get into. I consider this kind of a mentorship, but just showing potential means so much, and I think that that's kind of what Mark and Michael are talking about. It doesn't have to be a complete work. It doesn't have to be this amazing thing, but the interest and the potential is what I think most people are looking for.
All right, I really
Excellent.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very true.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Who else has some questions for us or about the program or about what you guys are doing? Or just like to make a statement about where you are in your career? This is open, guys, so feel free, let us know.
You get Marcel.
Anybody? Marcel? Okay, great. I couldn't see your hand there, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was just wondering, how are the scholarships decided? Is it all through FAFSA?
I think the scholarship's based on your standing, like are you getting financial aid already? Then you're
Yeah, yeah.
probably gonna
It's just that I'd be
get it.
okay,
Sorry?
yeah. I was just wondering because I'd be entering if I did apply, I'd be entering the program as a graduate, so I didn't fill out FAFSA for this upcoming year because I didn't think I'd be taking any anymore. But that was
I
it.
don't, I mean, the fact that you're a graduate or graduating from CSUN,
Mhm.
and that's first of all gonna be in your favor.
Okay.
But I don't know the exact criteria of how they decide who's going to get the scholarships.
Oh.
I think it's like financial aid. Like, how do they decide if you need financial aid? Well, they do ask questions if you go to that page on the scholarships about, I think, let's see, financial documentation, submit your information if you were born before January 1st, an active member of duty, an orphan, have legal out dependents, graduate student, or married. So that's what they're basing it on, those things, it seems like.
Okay, so I don't totally know this either, but I know my daughter applied for this, so I have so I think a part of it is and not for this program, but a different one, but they do, so it's part of it's need based, like you're so like the same way that you are considered for other scholarships, but it's also I think a part of it is portfolio. Part of it is so if you're showing that you're really serious about wanting to do this, but Michael, you're the one that's going to be working with them on this stuff, so they can tell you more. But I'm pretty sure a part of it is financial, and then a part of it is kind of just like, hey, we need to get these students really need to get in. So
yeah, so that's why we're stressing apply. Apply for the financial aid, apply for the scholarship, just apply, because then the ones that come in first, they're going to consider first. And then they're also going to put more weight to them rather than waiting to the last minute. So, look, there's no guarantees, but go ahead and, get
So
yourself.
I wouldn't have to apply for FAFSA separately, right? It would be
No, this is separate from FAFSA. This is its own thing.
Okay.
And this has its own pool of money that is dedicated towards this scholarship fund for students who are interested in taking this program. So regardless of whether you were on FAFSA or you are on it now, has no bearing on whether you're going to get financial aid for this.
Okay. All right, great. That was my question. Thank you.
Oh,
there's
cool.
one other follow-up on that, Marcel, is that you can see what the costs are for in-state, out-state, and for undergraduate or graduate. And once you graduate, you can still do undergraduate credit. It depends on if you want to apply it to something. So you can take this class. You don't have to apply it to a graduate degree or an undergraduate degree. The CSU Summer Arts is pretty open, is my understanding.
Mhm.
So you can take this as undergraduate credit if you're not intending to, go to grad school.
Okay.
So it's cheaper for undergraduate credit.
Yeah.
So it's up to you whether it's advantageous for you to, apply for whichever, and like if you're actually if you need to use it for your degree. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that can help a little bit with it maybe. But you need to talk to them about all of the, the scholarship and the ramifications and stuff. So apply and then see what you can do with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, Sophia.
Hi, this kind
Hi.
of has to do with the first question, but I'm actually a freshman in college right now. So I do have a bit of animation that I've done for class. I just don't know what to add to my reel specifically to like I don't know if the animation reel is important in the application process, but I have like bouncing ball animations and like fundamental animations. I just don't know if I should be adding those in or other animations that are not like obviously for class, I guess.
Are you hedging towards 2D or 3D, or haven't you decided yet?
I haven't really decided. I am leaning more towards 2D though.
Okay. So Mark, you want to comment on what might be good for us to see? But again, I wouldn't worry if you don't have it, still apply. But
Yeah.
as exercises to do.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that you're doing this as a freshman. And if you don't have 3D experience, you don't have 3D to show. So you definitely should try to go in with the 2D stuff. And showing exercises, we're going to be able to see, where you're at with drawing and stuff like that. You're going to learn a lot as well doing this. So just put, if it's 2D, and Adam and Sherry, but exercises, but also if you have any gesture drawing.
Yes, I do.
So if you can put any kind of portfolio piece just to show like where you're at with, your rendering ability right now. So, and Adam and Sherry, if you want to jump on that, because I mean, this isn't the same as like getting into a studio. You're just showing competency with stuff. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that especially if you're hedging toward the 2D stuff, I would, if you've got time, if your portfolio doesn't have gesture drawings, I would do some of those different poses, whatever. Did you do any voice dialogue tests by chance?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? Great. In 2D?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's excellent. Because that's a big part of it. I mean, the principles of animation with the little tests with the bouncing ball and walk cycles, all of that stuff's great. But a dialogue test is a good way to present yourself. So that'll work in your favor, actually. But I would focus on, if you don't have a lot of, like what Mark was saying, gesture drawings or attitude poses, I think that would help a lot. And you can just leave them rough, because that's what most people are looking for, is to see what kind of drawing skills you have. I mean, cleanup's nice, but I think especially, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael and Mark, but you guys would like to see the rough stuff to see where they are with the attitudes and personality, line of action, things like that.
I mean, for us, I think everybody agree with this, especially, it's about process. We're not so jazzed about, it's great to see a finished product, but I'd like to see your thought process and your process of putting things together. One question for you. What software do they have you working over there? Are you working with Adobe Animate or Toon Boom?
I'm working with Toon Boom right now, and I've also started on Rough Animate.
Okay. All right, good. Because I just want to make sure that I have all the software covered. If people are in there, we can easily cross-pollinate and use both for the project. So don't worry about that. It's just so I know that you got. Sherry, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I was just gonna echo what Adam was saying too. I think for me, when I was looking at portfolios at think it was on Pepper Ann. We just wanted to see that you had an idea of movement. And that's why gesture is really important. Like, I remember I was teaching somewhere and we had everyone do one drawing every day. And what we got back was people were drawing their roommates sitting very still at their computers. And that's what they would hand in. And we wanted to see movement. I would always say, walk outside and watch someone play baseball or watch the squirrel run. Let's see that you know movement. And so I think it would be helpful if your gestures were active. You
Okay.
know, it's nice to see a tree. It's nice to see that you know structure. But it's a really good idea to get in the habit of drawing something moving.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it.
And
Great
look in
point.
the mirror. Look in a mirror and let's see some faces. Let's see some acting.
Or go to the zoo, which is, of course, a life drawing bit, but, and, look at the gorillas and the chimps and do some gestures that way. It's a very inexpensive way to get some amazing drawings and leave them loose and rough, and you'll get plenty of action.
Thank
Great.
you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Sophia, for the question. We appreciate it. Okay, Simon. Simon, are you there? Okay, I'll skip Simon over and come back to him. How about Luis?
Hi, yeah, I'm Luis Melero. I'm from CSU Chico. I'm currently a senior, and after all this talk about 3D and 2D, I was just wondering, I'm going down the pathway of a 3D animator and everything, and I've done animations. I've gone through like the body mechanics class, the fundamentals, acting animation with like lip syncs and things like that. But after the talk about 2D, I just had a quick question because I was wondering, um. I'm in my previous projects like in motion capture or in the 495 class Gavin mentioned earlier, the production class is similar to y'all. I've um I've worked a lot on storyboarding. Like I worked on the storyboard for the motion capture class and I worked on the storyboard for this 495 for our ideas. I was wondering if that's something that I could possibly turn in as well for like the demo reel or resume portion of applying for this program.
Absolutely. Both
Mhm.
both teams, whether they're 2D or CG, are not only going to have to come up with storyboards, but they're going to have to put them into an animatic. So we're going to need at least one person on the team who's had some experience in storyboards. Absolutely.
Got it. So show y'all my storyboards, show y'all the animatic that we would come up with and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
And if you're going for CG, show us any CG animation you've done too. That would help as well.
Okay, of course.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Katie.
Hi, I was wondering, do we have to include animation in the reel? Because I do in the portfolio, because I do have animation and most of it is old, and I feel like I have to do better now because I'm currently a freshman in college, and in the first year in my program, we don't do animation in the classes until next semester. So do I need to have the animation, or can I just include the other works?
Well, you're talking about 2D versus CG?
Oh no, could I include like gestures and stuff, or do I need to have like current animations? Like,
She's not happy with the 2D stuff that she did. So like,
Oh, I didn't hear 2D. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, but she did it before she got to school. It sounds like.
Got it. Right. Well, of course the gestures and stuff will be fine, but I mean, to let you know, you will be doing 2D animation in the program to do the short. So if you haven't done any at all, it might be a little bit of a challenge.
Well, so just show something and
Yeah.
show the best of what you have. You don't have to show everything. And we'll. Does that make sense? I think it's better to show something than not to.
yes, thank you.
And the other thing too is you can do some tests. Take a couple weekends and do some tests now.
Yeah, even if you took it like 2 weeks before you applied, spend a couple of days, 2 or 3 days here and there, and doing just a little bit of animation that to show us some frame by frame stuff in
Or even
animation.
even just posing and timing, even if it's not fully blocked out. Just anything just to kind of show, just so that it's more than just some figure drawings, will help, because you are competing against the other students that are trying to get into the program. So put your best foot forward, and but yeah, just show if you can. And then Simon, I think, said his mic was working. Michael, I'm watching the chat.
Okay. 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 Thank you so much, Katie. Simon, yes.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, how many hours a day will the team of 4 be meeting versus in independent time?
24.
I think 25 hours.
That's just a start.
And it's 8 days a week.
Yes.
You know, I did want to say one thing. I didn't mean to interrupt you
No,
about,
it's fine.
I know it sounds like it's very intense deadline, but
Yeah.
again, I wish I had something like this when I was just starting out, because as artists, we doubt ourselves and we will never finish anything. We'll just keep working on
Right.
something, reworking
Yeah.
and overworking. This way you're gonna start trusting yourself. You know, you got to get it done. It's done, and you're going to convince yourself good enough. Move on.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a
great.
really great opportunity, you guys.
Well, and I think kind of settling on that too, sometimes it's progress over perfection. You learn something and you move on and you do better the next time. But I mean, not to say that you shouldn't try, do your absolute best. But I think that's a very valid point that Sherry's saying. It's like you learn something and you collaborate, and the pushback from the other people that you're working with will help you grow as an artist, as an animator. That's very important, that you don't get when you're just doing something by yourself. When you're working with a team, you actually grow, and it's very powerful.
And I think, once you're there, you'll realize that the whole 2 weeks is all about the project. You're never really not talking about it. Of course, we have a breakfast, we have a lunch, we have a dinner, but you're always talking about it because you're always thinking about it, because it's something that you're creating together as a team. So the lab will be open at nighttime, and it's always full. It's a creative, collaborative environment that is actually really conducive to you coming up with something way better than you would if you were working on your own, because you have that push and pull. And I could say it's also about quality, not quantity. It's not about how long and how much you do. It's about spending the time of what you're going to do the best you can, the best that you can deliver in what you're doing. But yeah, it's pretty much the whole time you're there. So I don't know.
Thank
Does
you
that answer
very
the question?
much. Yes, that answers my question. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Simon. Francesca.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just wondering, so I'm an international student going to San Jose State. I have an F1 visa. Am I allowed, okay, to apply for this program?
Yes, you are. Absolutely. That you just need to tell them on the application that you're an F1 student. Where are you from originally?
Colombia.
Great. Awesome. Well, I think that this is because does your visa end when your classes end, or does it,
No, it ends like 1 year after I graduate, so to 2026.
So are you a senior or a junior? Or?
I'm a junior right now.
Okay, so then you should be fine because you're still in school. The visa is still valid, and this is just a class that you're taking over the summer. Really?
Yeah.
So that's no problem at all.
And the credits will transfer, and
for your senior year,
your
yeah.
financial aid should kind of hopefully kind of line up with it as well. I mean, I believe it's all eligible. So
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Okay, anybody else? Okay, here Luis. Yes.
Hi, I got another question. I was just thinking
Okay.
about this for like the submission and the application. I remember, or I realized that I have a blog post with, tracking my things, and I do mention like the storyboard I worked on and my animations and progress I've made on them and talking about them. Could I also upload that as part of like the website for the submission for this?
So when you submit your stuff, you can put a link to anything. Like
Okay.
I'm asking for a link to your portfolio or your website. If you have a link to whatever it is, Instagram, anywhere where you post your work, just put that link in there so we can click on it and take a look at your work. Really, it doesn't, matter whether it's from Tumblr or wherever, just put the link in so we can click on it and take a look at it.
Okay.
Can I, and just real quick too, just with, you guys all should have websites so that you can curate what people are looking at. So it's not just like a list of, things, but, Michael, yeah, absolutely, any place is fine. But like what you were just saying, you have stuff from different places. Wix and Weebly are free. Google Sites are free.
Yeah.
So, you can set and unbelievably easy. It's just widgets. So you're dropping and dragging things. You don't have to make it super complicated. You pick a template and then you drop stuff in. So you could have a link to a website where you collect everything, and you could put that together in a few hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the easiest way. You post your demo reel on your site and we look at it. But if you don't have a site up yet, and my point was wherever you've posted your work, just so we can see your work, that's what's important. Thanks
Okay.
so much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Isabella.
Hello. I was just
Hello.
wondering if there's any like materials that we should plan on getting for this, because I know you already mentioned that labs would be provided, but is there anything that we should bring ourselves?
Other than a notebook or a sketchbook and pencils, pens, whatever, really you're going to be working on the computer most of the time. Once everybody's applied and then the people have been approved, I'm going to actually request you to come in with your story ideas ahead of time so we can kind of knock out the story in the first day versus you guys trying to think of one while you're there. So if you want to be preemptive or think ahead, think of 3 stories that you could come up with that I guess is a good time to mention this now. The criteria of what we're doing. I'm going to keep it very loose, guys, but we're looking for 2 character stories. Okay. Possibly 3 if you need a third one, but I think you could do it in 2. 3 different environments, maybe 1 major prop, and then a beginning, middle, and end to a story that would last about a minute and a half. Okay. So it's a very short film. Your synopsis, which I'll ask you guys to write, doesn't need to be more than half a page for the idea. If you want to go longer, you can go longer, but it's going to be condensed because it's a short film. But just think of it this way in terms of dividing it into a beginning, middle, and end for the story in terms of that, which is going to be the first thing we're going to lock down pretty much day 1. So that's and then of course there'll be Sherry there and Adam to help guide you when you pitch your stories, what you could do maybe to add to them or change them or adapt them to a shorter form. Invariably, people come in with an idea that's 6 or 7 hours long. So as a note or as a feedback, probably try to stay away from anything that has a backstory to it. In other words, in the film is what you see is what you get. So it's beginning, middle, and end of what's happening in real time with the characters versus what happened to them several years ago and stuff like that. I hope that helps as a beginning when you guys are starting to think about that.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, Simon, you got another one?
I do. I wanted to ask, when will we be notified if we are accepted?
So once you apply, we're going to start going through the submissions probably at the end of this month. And I would say at some point at the very latest before the end of May. So you'll know before then.
Okay, thanks.
Possibly sooner. We don't know. It just depends on how many we get in because we're not doing I don't think there's a hard deadline for people to submit, but there is a hard deadline for the financial aid stuff.
All right, thanks.
Sure. Okay, we've got a few more minutes to wrap up. Any last questions that we have?
I did have one quick question. Are you structuring the each of the bits of animation? Are the students going to be recording their voices to do certain scenes, or
Yes.
are you looking for just pantomime, or is it pretty much up to what the student wants to do?
I mean, if they want to do voices, I want to first try to get them to do it with no voice.
Hmm.
But if they want to have dialogue or two, a line or two of dialogue, absolutely. They can record it themselves and they can do a line or two of dialogue. But let's just try to say we don't want the story to depend on the dialogue, which makes sense, right? So we'll have that as an extra added bonus to add some to it because it's going to be really a narrative story, versus, but it's certainly on the table. Absolutely. Yeah. Hope that answers the question.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just curious because yeah, it can be a lot of fun, even just a little dialogue, and
Yeah.
especially if you get to act the character. I think there might be more ownership to that character. But
Absolutely. I encourage
yeah,
it. I think it's a great
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Any last thoughts, Sherry or Mark, before we wrap the evening up?
I don't think, Adam, you're in my head. I was going to ask about dialogue as well. And the nice thing is with animation, one of the things that I really love about animation is the word cheating. You're going to learn that there's so many things you can do as frame by frame filmmakers, i.e. animation people, and that you can tell a very succinct, wonderful, well acted story with very little movement. I mean, you're gonna learn so much, and it's all about choices as you're beginning to learn now. And so regarding the acting, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the other thing too, is like don't confuse acting with action. And I know when I started, I thought, oh, we always got to keep it moving. But no, you got to think about what services the scene the best. And sometimes the less amount, more is less, or less is more. So, but yes, definitely KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Excellent.
You guys, that you got this free mini class here just for attending this. So incredible value. So like that was great, Adam, Sherry. I mean, it's like you guys. It's like you guys. It's such an incredible opportunity because you're going to get to get feedback, and you got these people. You got Adam Dykstra, you got Sherry Pollock. It's going to be really, really. I think it's going to be really like life changing. So you guys should apply.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Sherry, Mark, and Adam, for being here. Really appreciate your time. And thank you to all the students who came and had questions. And if you have any, feel free to email me. I'm looking forward to hopefully working with all of you this summer. And thanks again. Looking forward to seeing you guys. Appreciate you. Take care and be well.
Right. Thanks so much, everybody. Nice to see you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, and let's